Hey everyone, just popping in here just to give a minor trigger warning here. There has been mention of money talk, I think some body talk as well, and sexual assault in this episode that I didn't anticipate in the first half an hour of the show. So just be in mind and yeah, enjoy the episode. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Stripped by Sia, your podcast for strippers, sex workers, and all the fancy naked people in between. I am your host, Steph Sia, aka Kimchi on stage. I am just finishing the week up at the strip club, and it's been like 2 months since I've been back, and now I've caught a cold. So I am sorry if you hear sniffling in this episode or me coughing and making weird noises. My nose is congested, so this is what we're going to have to deal with today, but hopefully it's not as noticeable. But as mentioned, I am a dancer based in Vancouver, Canada. I'm also a digital content creator, former sugar baby, and the host of this show. And if you're new here, Stripped by Sia is all about destigmatizing sex work. So every week for the past 3+ years, I've been bringing on different guests on the show to provide a really thorough and transparent approach to sex work. Because oftentimes, our work is highly stigmatized. Society has many opinions about us, usually incorrect. So I'm trying to do my best in terms of setting the record straight, giving people a voice, and, humanizing sex workers because we are human. And, sometimes it feels like we are treated like we are not. So, yep, just trying to make a small change in the world in my little old way. So thank you for listening. A couple things I want to shout out before we get started with this week's guest, which I'm super excited for. I just want to say hello and a shout out to some of the fans on Patreon. So if you didn't know, I have Patreon, which helps me pretty much support the website, which I have an official date. It will be up on December 1st. I have been working my ass off this week and stopped procrastinating over the past summer to get things up. So it will be there, and that's where all your money is going for as low as the price of a coffee. So if you are interested, it's patreon.com/strippedbysia. And a quick little shout out here to those who are on the top and middle tiers of my Patreon. Just want to say hello to Snoo all the way from Germany. We have Jay Sunsern here from Vancouver, as well as Rup Sarkar. Justin Erickson, hello from Washington, also from the West Coast. And we've got a couple new people as well that have joined the top tiers here. So hello to Selena Money and hello to Ted McGuire. Thank you so much for supporting. There are other lower tiers available as well, but that is where you can find out and watch the video exclusive of the show, exclusively from season 4 onwards, so 4 and 5. And yeah, there's lots of bonus episodes and really fun kind of sneak peeks and kind of like you get to hear the show before it gets released, all that fun stuff. But be sure to check it out if you want to monetarily support the show. It's patreon.com/strippedbysia. That spiel gets longer and longer. It used to be 2 minutes. Now it's 3 minutes. I'm sorry.
That's funny.
But we're finally getting to this week's guest. If you're wondering who is that lovely voice in the background lurking, or if you're watching on the video exclusive, who is this cute person here? I want to introduce everyone to Suki Jade. Suki is a digital content creator, full-service sex worker based in Denver, Twitch streamer, BBW, cute person, a colleague of mine who works with me at PS Group, and just all-around amazing human, and also Reddit pro. So basically, we're going to be talking about Reddit today. It's a huge platform, huge topic that I'm going to pick the shit out of her brain today because she knows a lot more than I do, and I'm just too terrified to even go on there as a sex worker. So
it's a hellscape, so you have every right to be
terrifying.
worried. Yeah, like this is just not a user-friendly platform, and then not a sex worker-friendly platform,
No.
generally speaking.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
And we're definitely going to be getting into all the nitty gritty and all of that today. But Suki Jade, hello, welcome to the
Hello.
show.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
You're so welcome. Oh my gosh. How was that intro for you? I like always want to flip it back to you to kind of define who you are in your own words and terms. Like,
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty accurate. I've been a sex worker for like a decade. I've dabbled in all different kinds. Currently, yes, digital and full service in Denver. And I do social media. I'm a social media director for PS Group. Um, and I have Reddit clients. That's like kind of my specialty. So I manage Reddit accounts. It's super fun. I've been really enjoying it because, everybody's voice is different and all of that. But yeah, that was a good introduction. I don't really have anything else.
you're like, you
I
can
have
do
3 dogs. I live alone.
and there we go.
Yeah. Like, I'm more lame than you described, but yes.
It's funny because whenever I get the rare opportunity to guest in other people's podcasts, they do this whole like hype like thing.
Right? Like, yeah, this is an amazing person. Look who we have on. And I'm like,
Yes.
ah.
I'm just like, I'm actually really boring, but okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm boring and I have imposter syndrome. So
Yes.
this is like
Weird.
I'm like, it's weird that I'm here.
But I'm so happy that you are here because again, you are a master at Reddit. I attended your Reddit, I guess, masterclass at PS Group.
The webinar,
The
yeah.
webinar that was insanely informative, and I guess I'm kind of like riffing off of that as well. Sorry, Carly, but like I've been wanting to have you on the show for a while, so I'm glad we were finally able to connect, and so I can really kind of pick your brain about all this because. Like myself, I'm sure a lot of listeners are out there and people have asked for this. Like, what about Reddit? Like, what's your advice on Reddit? And I'm just like, I cannot give you advice. I don't touch that place. Um, it's scary to
Yep.
me, but we'll get into all of that. I guess pretty soon, but kind of before we get into the nitty gritty, the audience is always curious, and also myself too, in terms of like how you found yourself in sex work since you've been at it for like a decade now. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, what your story is, and yeah, go off.
Yeah, it's weird because I come from like a place of absolute privilege. Like my family's upper middle class. Both my parents went to college, and like college was definitely like there was no other option. Like I was going to college, and they paid for all of that. But at some point in college when I was 18, so I started really early, but not really early, but legally early.
Yeah.
Um, I think I don't even remember how I got onto Seeking Arrangements, but I got onto Seeking Arrangements, and like back then those guys were so good at like telling you like, oh, it's however much. I don't know if like money talk is okay, but
Oh,
like they give you some
absolutely.
low ass number, like it's 300, everyone's just doing 300 for a whole date, like
Lies.
overnight, whatever.
Lies.
And they lie to you, and I was 18 and I had no idea, and I also like was working a job where I was getting paid like $10 an hour, so like $300 seemed like a lot of money.
Girl, same.
Yeah. Oh god. And I look back on it, I'm like, I could have been making so much more, but that's just kind of how it goes because there's, back a decade ago, we definitely didn't have podcasts about how to be a sugar baby.
Yeah.
It was a little bit different. And so I started in that when I was in college. I like dabbled in doing social media, and I got my degrees in advertising and management. I got a double.
Nice.
And I did internships, and like every time that I worked in an office, I like really wanted to kill myself. So
Girl,
it was like,
same.
yeah, it was really bad. And that's also around the time that I like realized, and I'm self-diagnosed. I've not made the effort to go and get diagnosed by a doctor, but I've taken a lot of tests, so it's pretty like legit. But I had an ex-boyfriend who like pointed out to me, he saw this list of like autistic traits in women who were not diagnosed as children,
Ah,
because you're forced to learn to socialize, because they're not giving you, like, it used to be autism was like a male only
right.
disease, quote unquote, when they like first discovered it.
Yes.
But yeah, an ex of mine was like, "Oh, I read this list, and I hope you're not upset by this, but I could not help but think of you." And I was like, "Oh no!" So I read that and realized that's probably what was going on, and that's probably why I had such a hard time in office spaces, because office politics. Like, I got in trouble at one of my internships because she was like, "You sound like a bitch when you write your emails." Because I wasn't using enough exclamation points. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
And shit like that is exhausting, and I cannot mask for that many hours a day
No.
around that many people. So sex work felt easier. And as women, we learn from a very young age how to make it seem like we're having a good time while we're having sex when we're not, because like most women don't have their first orgasm with a partner until like mid-20s. It's absurd. But yeah, I got into sex work that way. I think I just had such a hard time with everything else. And I did that sugaring thing when I was young, and I was like, okay, I could do this. I dabbled in camming. Camming is nice for people who like can't handle the in-person work. Not handle, but who just don't want to deal with that, which is like obviously fine.
Yes. It's valid.
Yeah, but I had a hard time with camming because I got really bored. Like, it was really boring. And there were times where and I got into stripping after I got into camming, but this is the same thing happens in the strip club. There are times where you sit there for hours and don't make a single dollar.
Yeah.
And that shit is exhausting.
Yeah, that's why I
That
also
shit is
bring my
exhausting.
laptop with me, and I just
Right? Yeah, I used to bring my Switch and play video games in the strip club. Because I worked at some tiny ass club too, and this was after I graduated. So I graduated, got my degrees, I did my internships when I was in college, and I was like, I can't do this. This isn't going to work for me. And then I started taking pole dancing classes for exercise, and then I was like, I could do this. I want to try it. And so I went and I went during night shift, and they asked me if I had ever danced before, and my dumb like, I'm autistic. I was like, no, I've never danced before. And so they immediately were like, okay, well, you can't work night shift. Right, which is like something you also don't know. Like, if you want to be able to start on the night shift, you have to tell them that you've worked somewhere before. They're not going to check your fucking references, but like,
what references?
Yeah. So I worked day shift for months, and that is like just a wasteland in this tiny little club that I was in that had been around for like 80 years. We called it Church on the Hill because it used to be a church before it was a strip club.
Was it? That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. There was like the whole entryway and stuff. They made that the smoking patio. And then the main entrance for the club was like in the back. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I did that for a while. Like 3 or 4 years.
Did you like stripping?
And it was fine.
Yeah.
I did. And there were some times where with like getting overstimulated was a big thing. And just because the music is so loud. But it is dark, so that's nice. So that's when I picked up smoking cigarettes, because I would just go out on the smoking patio and it was quiet out there, so it was easier for me. I had to take a lot of breaks. I did.
Yeah.
But, at first it was nerve-wracking, but then you realize that it's kind of like the same script over and over, and I love a good script. Like, I love a good scripted encounter. Like, I have a whole system. And nowadays with my full service work, I end up with a lot of newbies, and I have a little routine for them,
Yeah.
And that's what happened at the strip club, a routine. And I like that. It's nice.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
I can see that.
But it was my first time doing in-person. That's not true. I did in-person sex work as a sugar baby, but it was different.
Yeah.
In the strip club, it's almost like, even though there's a bouncer, it's almost less safe because there are men that go in there specifically to treat women a certain way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And like the most I've ever been assaulted in sex work was at the strip club. Because like men, in clubs like that too, like, because it's so small and we're getting like $20 a dance, and on Tuesdays we did $10 dances, and like we're not following any of the rules about touching. So like men would, I had the very first time that I've like hit a man, and this is always like an iconic moment in every like sex worker's life when they realize that they can just be a bitch. Like,
it's the best part.
yeah. I was giving a guy a lap dance and I was down between his legs, and as I came up, he grabbed me and kissed me.
Oh, fuck.
So and like shit like that, like people like putting their hands on your pussy when they're not supposed to, kind of thing.
Yeah. It's exhausting.
Would happen a lot. Yeah, and like, you know, managers are never on your side because in clubs like that, the money that they're making is from alcohol sales, not from us. So they don't, you know, they're not going to take your side.
Yeah.
But yeah, this guy kissed me and I yanked back and like slapped the fuck out of him. And the look on his face, just priceless. Priceless. He was so shocked.
Oh my God.
What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, I think I liked stripping because in most of the sex work that I've done, there wasn't a community. Like I didn't get to like go to work and hang out with a bunch of other women who like do the same thing that I do.
Yeah.
And everyone would always ask like, oh, what's the most interesting customer you have at the strip club? And like, oh, the customers are not even the interesting part. The women are.
Yeah.
The women are so interesting. I got bullied by one of the veterans as soon as I showed up because I'm autistic and I said something that I thought was fine, but it like was very insulting to her.
Oh shit.
I was like, this trick that you do looks like it's pretty easy. Could you show it to me? And I meant easy in the sense that like my new ass could do it.
Yeah.
And she was like, none of the stuff that I do is easy, like blah, blah, blah. And she got upset and then she like bullied me for the rest of the time I was there.
Oh,
but
fuck.
yeah, but it's still interesting. It's so interesting.
Yeah,
Like,
I think the camaraderie is the best. Yeah, the stories,
Mhm.
the banter that happens. Like,
I had a work wife.
Yeah.
Like, we did dances together. It was cute. I had, you know, it was nice. You don't really have that when you work independently. You have to like work really hard to maintain relationships with other sex workers.
You do. Question for
Yeah.
you before we break and go into more of the full service stuff. And like you mentioned with sugaring, you said like that was different because we were talking about like in-person work and you're like, oh yeah, I hadn't done it. You're like, wait a minute, I did do that before.
I did do it.
Yeah.
But it feels different.
Tell me about that because I might share like a similar sentiment to that as well. But I'd love to hear like what you meant by that.
Yeah, well, with sugaring, like most of the work that was being done was like girlfriend time. It was less about the sex, and like when I say in-person work now, like I prefer the more efficient way.
Yeah.
The cut and dry, like you have 60 minutes, you paid for this 60 minutes, like because with sugar daddies, they want so much attention all the time, and they're a lot of them are cheap asses, and it's tiring, and I like don't even think about that part of my life like when I did that as sex work because it felt like I was just like having boyfriends who gave me money, you know, like they like it to be this other fantasy and this separate thing, you know.
And like they separate the sex work aspect of it, and I feel like I kind of did the same when I entered because that was also like my entry into sex work. And I think we were in the sugar bowl around the same time, like a decade ago, like when it was, I don't know, vastly different than seeking arrangement now. Like
it was a very casual thing. Like it was like a, you know, I didn't know anyone who was using it to like make a full living. Like it was smaller and like it was kind of ancestral too. Like a lot of the like I saw some of the same dudes like with other people than I knew and shit. So.
Yeah, it was a different time, and I mean I always like kind of compare, at least now in retrospect, sugaring is like just a lot more emotional labor.
Oh God, yeah, I hate it so much. I'm like, I actually at one point, because I got into full service because I moved out of Texas and I came to Denver, and I could not. And granted, this was like I don't want to like trigger weight talk or anything like this, so you can edit this out if need be, but like this was like 50 pounds ago. Okay, let me put that out there. And I could not get hired at a single strip club in Denver. They all told me that I was too fat.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I won an amateur night at one of the clubs, which now I would not recommend working there. It's like they've had like a bunch of sexual assault
Oh.
cases and shit. Yeah, it's a shitty club, shitty management. I won amateur night, so they had to pay me $300, and then we're all in the room together afterwards, and he's calling out all the girls that got a contract, and he doesn't call my name. And it was so embarrassing. Everyone like was like, but that girl won. Like,
Yeah.
isn't she gonna be? Yeah.
That's fucked.
Yeah.
That's so fucked.
And they're like, we just want you to like trim up a little bit, lose 10 pounds and come back. I'm like, bitch, do you know?
Fuck off.
Do you know? Like,
No.
like I've had eating disorders before. Like, do you know how long I've been trying to lose 10 pounds?
Yeah.
Like,
Fuck those people.
yeah, so I had to get into full service, and all I knew at that point with full service was seeking arrangements. So I like sustained myself for 6 months with only seeking arrangements dates, and it was horrible. It was so awful. It was so awful. Like, the clientele is so much worse than the clientele that I have now as an escort. They're like, why are they? Yeah, it's so
cheap.
awful.
Like, cheap.
Why are they so awful?
I don't know, but it's just like the breed of people that is on seeking arrangement is like the lowest of the low, the cheapest.
It's
of the
true.
cheap. Like,
the cheapest of the cheap, and like it didn't used to be like that, was it? It didn't used to be like that.
No, because like when I first went on it, like back in like 2013, there were still like quite a few gems on there, and it was easier for me to get really decent
decent, we'll say, yeah.
loose terms. But then when I rejoined again, what was it, 2016 or 17, I reactivated my account, and then it was just flooded. Like,
it's so many, yeah. And so many of them are like young, attractive, like they make like maybe mid-level 6 figures, so they think they're like hot shit. And they don't even think that they have to pay at all.
I know.
Like they're just like, I'll take you on my boat. And I'm like, no. I can't pay rent with a boat trip. Like,
I always hated like the new guys. Like, I always like loved the guys in like early 50s was usually like my range because they got it, but then
they got the money part, but they also had such awful personalities.
Yes, but they were better than the egotistical young dudes.
I mean, they all have terrible personalities, but like, yes, because the thing is, and everyone, like, girls used to talk to me about this and be like, oh, well, you think I could just find like a hot young guy who's just gonna like give me I'm like, no, if they're on there, they're young and they're attractive and they have money, that means that they gotta have one of the worst personalities on the planet if they're still having to pay for someone to spend time with them. Like, that's not to be like roasty, but
it's the truth.
But it's true. It's true. They're gonna be one of the worst people that you've ever met. They're gonna be awful to be around.
Yes.
The older guys less so, yeah, because they understand at this point, like, this is just something they have to do. And they could be married and that's why, so they could be like a nice guy. You know, there's lots of other reasons, but if you're young, hot, and you have a bunch of money and you're single and paying women to spend time with you, usually it's because you have a really awful personality.
100%. Sugaring aside, how you got into full service, and then
it's a kind of a shitty story. Like, for me and anyone involved who worked at this agency, but I worked at a legal escorting agency here in Denver for like a month, and like they didn't do any vetting. I would show up at someone's house and they would be expecting sex and for like $180, and I'm in their house now. So it's like the most dangerous position you could ever put me in.
That is crazy.
And like there were some people who were regulars, but basically you only made money off of tips, so everyone did extras.
Yeah.
But like he ran the business. It was a man. It was a man.
Course, but are we
It was a small man, a very small man.
Oh man.
4'11". God, what was his name? It's Denver Ladies. Like, anyone who's in Denver works in sex work knows what Denver Ladies is. And he also is like a bondsman, so he like knows people, and so he's never been arrested, even though his girls have been arrested before.
Oh, fuck, that's fun.
And they know that they work for him. But like they were like 180, 220, and then they would take 60%.
Oh my god.
And we got to keep all our tips, which is why everyone just did fucking extras at that point.
Yeah.
But like his girls would get arrested because they don't do any fucking vetting. They just get a name and an address and then they send you.
That's sketchy.
I had to be like on call. So sketchy. And of course I had no idea. Like I'd done my sugaring before. I didn't vet those people. And like I assumed with an agency it would be safer because there are other women involved, and like if other women are working for them, then it's got to be okay, right? There were a lot of us.
Yeah.
They tried to make us come in for weekly meetings too.
Oh my god, seriously?
I'm a hooker. Like, please stop. This is the whole reason that I do this, is so that I don't have to come in for meetings. And this little 4'11" guy would like tell us how to do our jobs. And like, you know, this girl, she always gets callbacks, blah blah blah. Like, let me have her show you how to do a lap dance on me. You know, like it was fucking, it was gross. It was fucking gross. It was gross. And he would like be flirty with some of the girls because they would be nice to him, because like that's how you're supposed to interact with people like that when you're people like us. But I can't do that, and I don't do that. So I was just really snippy with him all the time, and he's like, well, no wonder you don't do well, because, you know. And I'm like, you think I talk to customers like this? No, I just hate, it's you. I hate you. He called me in his office for a meeting one time to tell me how much I could be making, but spent like 15 minutes just on his computer ignoring me while I was sitting there, like shit like that, you know. Just a piece of fucking shit. A piece of fucking shit.
Oh my god.
Basically like a shitty pimp. Like, he doesn't even keep you safe.
Yikes.
Yeah, so I did that for like a month, and then I was like, this is so dumb. I have an advertising degree. I can do this myself.
Yeah.
I can do a better job. And when I left, a bunch of the other like successful women in that company left too, because they saw that I could do it on my own.
There we go.
Yeah. And then I got arrested.
Oh shit. You want to go next, or
it's up to you. I mean,
we could quickly go into that if you want.
I know I'm talking a lot. It's up to you.
No, it's all good.
It was dumb. I didn't know how to vet yet because I had never seen anyone do it properly. I got caught up in a sting.
Oh,
they stayed there for like a week. They picked up 30 girls. I saw some girls from Denver ladies next to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too bad in Colorado. It's just a misdemeanor. And, you know, they kept me in jail for like a night and a day. Yeah. Obviously, it was super traumatic.
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, well, you know, we haven't really talked about this much on the podcast, actually. So thank you for opening up and sharing about that.
Oh, yeah. I at least want everyone to know, like that people do that, because you never think about it, and you're like, yeah, they actually do stings, and they almost always are targeting us. Hotels are riskier because that way they can have like adjoining rooms. They work with hotel staff a lot. Yeah, but like, you know, they like busted in like 6 dudes all fucking geared up, like, get on the ground, you're fucking, like, so unnecessary.
Yeah.
Just scaring the fuck out of me.
Yeah, well, it's so traumatizing and scary, and I'm sorry you went through that, but now
it's okay.
You've inspired me to do like, maybe another episode on that.
Oh yeah, that would be very like helpful, and especially if you can get information from people who have been arrested in different cities.
Yeah, because
everywhere they do it differently. Yes. Tip: don't ever tell them that you drove yourself. They will impound your car.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, mine got impounded for 30 days minimum. So just don't tell them that.
FYI for anyone listening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yes, I'm gonna put that into my notes in my brain to make an episode on that, because I think it's something that we definitely need to talk about, and something that we haven't really discussed in the show. But what we are talking about today is Reddit. So first of all, Reddit, what is it for those who actually don't know what it is? Because we have a lot of people that listen to the show.
Yeah, it's a sort of like a social media platform, forum, mixture, news, gaming, whatever. You can get all information. There are communities on Reddit, and this is where the content comes from. Yeah, they're called subreddits.
Yeah.
And there's a subreddit for anything you could possibly imagine.
Literally anything.
Literally anything. When it comes to porn, literally anything. When it comes to not porn, literally anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of just like a place. It's majority of users are male. And it's kind of just like a place where like men get on and then they kind of like circle jerk off with each other about like having the same opinions. It's super fun. It's really great. And then the sex worker side of it is a little bit better, but still run by men. There are some very popular subreddits that have been made by like women who were very successful on Reddit, which I love that. But most of the porn subreddits are run by men, and you'll run into things like a majority of them, if you have any kind of link or selling link, they're like, we don't want you. It's not what we want. If you're selling things, the tits are not as good if they're for sale. Yeah, so there's a lot of subreddits like that, and those don't even bother. There's also a lot of subreddits that don't allow original content, which I think is weird and gross. It's just men sharing like styles of porn that they like with each other. Like I said, circle jerk.
Yeah.
They're jerking off together.
There you go. I mean, well, first of all, like, how did you even discover Reddit?
I used Reddit like since college because I dated like nerdy guys, and they were always on Reddit.
Of course.
Yeah. And I wanted to be cool. I was a pick-me in college. I'm just going to put that out there. So I wanted to be cool, so I was on Reddit also. I didn't use it for porn like ever though.
Right.
And then
like when did that
and then well, the guy I was with used it for porn. And I was like, wait a second. I could do that. I could do that. Yeah. And I started doing that after I had moved to Denver too. Because when COVID hit, my OnlyFans income doubled. So I wanted a way to like maintain that.
Yeah.
And I felt that Reddit would be like a good place for that. And I already knew how to use the platform.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, I mean, like for a person that's coming into Reddit and is just completely overwhelmed with everything, where do you start? One, as a user, and then two, as a person, like a creator, if you want to start marketing. It's a loaded couple questions.
Yeah. As a user, that's just like consuming media on Reddit is pretty easy. That's like if you have never used Reddit for porn, this is for like the clients who watch this, but if you've never used Reddit for porn, it's good. There's lots of little niches and you can really get whatever you want. For posting, I definitely recommend like learning about it first, because otherwise you're going to get on there and you're going to make a bunch of mistakes and your account's going to get banned and you're going to be like, what happened? And then you're going to not have the username you want. So like the webinar that we put out, there's other guides too, but you definitely want to learn how to do it first before you just jump right in. That's always really hard. You have to make a user page, find subreddits that are in your niche. There's a master list that's kind of old and outdated. I was thinking about updating it maybe, but there's a master NSFW subreddit list. The biggest thing I'll say is like a lot of stuff it's not self-explanatory, but if you are like have the energy to read like the rules of a page and stuff, then you won't make as many mistakes. And it's easy to skip all that shit because like some asshole was writing it and he's like in all caps like you can't say this or that, you know. But like you have to read that, otherwise you're gonna get banned and shit like that. Right. So read everything that's on the page. Find a niche.
Niche. Yeah, that's really important. And
it is.
I think it's really important in sex work too.
Just in general,
because there's a lot of us out there, and there's a lot of people that have, we cater to different fantasies, or we play different roles and stuff too. So like, if you're just kind of wading in the ocean, like it's
and Reddit is very saturated. And it's very saturated, and the body and look that's popular on Reddit is kind of like pedo-y. Like they like small white women who they either like skinny white women who have like nice big fake tits, or they like skinny white women who are small and look like a child. So like those are the biggest porn subreddits. Like, yes, if you look like that, I absolutely recommend going onto those subreddits because
Mhm.
you will have a much easier time. If you don't look like that, so like person of color, bigger size, just alternative,
Mhm.
like tattoos, whatever, there's lots of subreddits for all of those things. And I recommend not even bothering with those other big subreddits. Like
Yeah.
every
That's a good
once in a while, like maybe like a sort of slightly plus size woman will do well on there, but it's never like no BBWs. Like they, and a lot of time they have rules about that.
Oh, the rules, everything. I mean, let's just like, okay, let's definitely go into the rules topic for sure because
Yeah. Well, the
that's
rules for
important.
each subreddit
Like very,
are determined by the
yes.
moderators. Some of the moderators are really shitty. I think r slash breeding material, which I had success on because obviously, but
Yeah.
they put out a pin post, the moderators did, where they're like, breeding material does not mean overweight or unhealthy. It means good genes and blah. And I'm like, what the
What
fuck
does
does
that mean? Excuse
Are you fucking like, excuse me, Hitler? Like, chill, bro. Like,
me?
good genes. How do you know a skinny girl has good genes? She might be like a depressed alcoholic. Like, you don't know. How's that good genes? Just
Again,
because you're skinny doesn't mean you have good genes. Anyways,
written by
there's
men.
subreddits like that. So now I actually still post on there. But every time I do, I'm like, none of you like me. Like, like I'm not supposed to be here, but here I am. And everyone's like, no, we love plus size women. Like, because so many men do love plus size
Yes.
women. For some reason, the moderators of the subreddit decided that only the type that they like is the type that's allowed. But that's how it works because they're the moderators.
Yeah,
And they made the subreddit. So
that's tricky. I mean, like, oh gosh, how does one go about finding? Because there are so many
there are
subreddits.
so many.
How do
Like
you
I said,
navigate that?
list
Oh, sorry.
The master list is helpful, but also this is how I like to recommend to people, okay? If you see a girl that looks like you, go to her page and look at all the places that she posts and then post in all those places.
Hmm.
That's one strategy. Another strategy is most subreddits have like sister subreddits or linked, like if you like this, you would like that, and it'll be a whole list of things. Go through those lists every time. You might see something, even if it's a little small, like under 100K.
Hmm.
Still good to post in if it's like a niche that you're in. Like there's one that's like chubby Asians.
Right.
It's perfect for me. Yeah, they get really
Very
specific. I think there's like a subreddit for amputee
yeah,
porn.
that's the whole
Like,
thing, like devotees and
uh
the
huh.
whole thing.
Yeah, they have like a damsel in distress subreddit. I don't even
What does that
know how
mean?
you would like convey that in a nudie, but like whatever. It's like the most Reddit thing that's ever existed. Like,
Well, you mentioned something interesting there with like one of those strategies. It's like how to construct your page. Like, why don't we start with that? Because I think that's also really, really important as well.
yeah, make sure that it's marked NSFW.
Hmm.
It's very important.
Number
It's a really
one.
easy way to get banned. Yeah. Um, Starting from scratch is hard. I've done it many times now with clients, and you're just gonna have to. A lot of places won't let you post because your account is new.
Right. You have
Yeah.
karma.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait.
So,
Can you explain what karma is too? Sorry, for those who don't know.
it's like likes.
Yeah.
It's like likes. You can upvote and you can downvote a post. People on Reddit are shitty, so even in your own subreddit, you will get downvotes. Because people go through and they just like they like downvoting people. I don't know, like putting out negative energy. But yeah, and a karma is not a direct. It's not like upvotes minus downvotes. It used to be, but then people started having too much karma, so they made it some kind of a hidden mathematical equation, and it's
Mm,
less now. So if
mhm.
you get like 1,000 karma on a post, it's probably only going to be like 300-400. I think it's like it scales down the more you get to.
Oh, okay.
Like it's worth less
Here we go.
the more you get in the same subreddit. But that doesn't mean don't post in the same subreddits. Just keep an eye on it. But a lot of subreddits will have comment karma requirements, and so with that, that's a little harder. I recommend going into the safer work subreddits and responding to like ask Reddit questions or like AMAs, like r/funny, making a comment. You can have something blow up like overnight if it's like clever or something, and then you'll be good. If not, you get 1 karma every time you post. So if you need 50 comment karma, you can comment somewhere 50 times. And it would technically work, I think. I've never done it that way, but it is one karma per comment. So yeah, actually no, that's not true, because I respond to comments all the times on my client's page and their comment karma doesn't go up. I think someone else has to upvote your comment.
Oh,
Sorry.
gotcha. There we go.
Yeah, you can just edit that last part out
No.
if you want. But yeah, it's hard. There are places where you can farm karma. I don't recommend doing that. Most subreddits won't let you post if you do shit like that.
What does that mean for those who don't know what farm?
So it'll be a subreddit dedicated to people just upvoting other people's shit so they can get karma.
Oh, yeah.
Like a spam kind of like
fans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Most subreddits, NSFW subreddits too, won't let you do that.
Like are like maybe we can also go down like common rules that you see in subreddits, because I know it's all different depending on the moderator.
It is, yeah.
Separate, but like what are the most common ones you see?
A lot of time you'll need to verify original content only, verification required. That's a whole process, but they usually have pretty straightforward instructions, just like follow the link and follow the instructions.
Yeah.
That's very common in NSFW subreddits. It's how they like kind of regulate catfish and beats it up kind of thing. Gotcha. They won't ask for like ID or anything, but they will ask you to like put the subreddit on a piece of name on the piece of paper, so like they know that you're like consenting to be posted or post in the subreddit.
Right.
What else? Watermarks are generally not allowed. Username watermarks are the most common one that are allowed. I checked the rules, but they always have rules about watermarks. Most subreddits, there are selling subreddits. I've had very little success in those because it's like kind of overrun with providers and not clients.
Not enough people. Yeah.
Yeah, but most NSFW subreddits will not let you sell in your title or in your comments.
Gosh.
So don't mention anything like that. A bunch of them have these new rules about like spammy titles because they're sick of girls asking the same questions over and over.
Oh, like clickbaity?
Like upvote if you'd fuck me, or like would you fuck me, or first time here, I don't think I belong here. What do you think? Like shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're getting annoyed. They are getting annoyed by the captions and lack of creativity. So keep an eye on those rules. Sometimes they will ban you if you break them.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that too, because
and then like content rules, like if it's a foot subreddit and it says it has to be feet, like
it has to be feet.
Post your feet.
Yeah. Easy.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's a lot. There's a lot. It can be really overwhelming. Like if you say you have like one of your clients and they are, brand new, fresh on Reddit, what is your kind of course of action in terms of like priorities, or like how would you kind of structure that out?
First you need to learn how to post, because it's not as simple as uploading a photo and hitting send. Reddit doesn't like to host NSFW content. They don't host NSFW content. So as soon as you mark your profile NSFW, you won't be able to upload directly to Reddit. So what you have to do is you have to upload it to Imager, you have to get the .jpeg link, and that'll usually work in most subreddits. When it comes to GIFs, you have to use RedGIFs. So you have to learn that first. Otherwise, nothing that you post is going to be seen by anyone. When you make a profile, you're not going to have any followers. So posting on that profile is not going to be helpful until you get followers. Start with subreddits that are okay with new accounts. And it's going to be like, the strategy is going to be find like 20 subreddits you want to post in, have pictures for each of those. Try not to be spammy, because you won't be allowed in other subreddits if you post the same picture over and over. It's a strategy, but it means that you can't be in certain subreddits. So I usually don't like doing that. Post in a bajillion. Half of them are going to be like, you don't have enough karma, you can't post here. No big deal. They don't ban you for that. Your post just doesn't show up. The other half, you're going to show up. A couple people are going to follow you, whatever. And then you start posting on your page. Make a subreddit for yourself, I recommend. If you're already famous and there is a subreddit that already exists for you, reach out to those moderators. See if you can post original content. That's what I had to do for one of my clients because she's like a more famous porn star, and there was already a subreddit for her. But they were super nice, and I post for her in there all the time, and it's like her main source of karma now. So
Amazing.
Question.
Question.
Look up yourself.
Look up yourself. Yes. What are the benefits of like making your own subreddit?
You get karma.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. You get karma in any subreddit. And it's a community that you own, so you get to have full control over like what can be posted in there. And it's just another place for people to follow you and for you to like connect with people.
Totally.
They feel special when they find your little subreddit that you run, like
Yeah.
they want to be a little community.
Yeah, they want to belong.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
God.
They want to see that other people also like you.
Sorry, continue about like the whole like structure in terms of like, trying to get yourself going. Was there more to add to that as well?
No, and then rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Like
It's repetitive.
Yeah.
It's a process.
It is. It's repetitive. It's very time consuming because you can't schedule out on Reddit. There are sites that say you can, but most of them are just like organizational tools because Reddit doesn't have third-party apps like that.
Gotcha.
They don't allow third-party apps like that.
Right.
You can schedule on your own subreddit.
Oh, okay, but generally speaking,
but not in other people's.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And not on your user page either.
So
Yeah.
So you
got to get on. I recommend getting on and posting every day.
Yeah. And getting into that habit, right?
Mm-hmm. So the way that I run my pages that I run for people, I make a content calendar. I have 4 to 5 posts a day. I post on their user page. I post in their subreddit, and then I find 2 or 3 other places to post for them. And you want to mix it up, and you want to mix up the content. You can reuse content, just don't put it back to back so it doesn't look like you're spamming. Yeah.
Right.
Because a lot of content can be used in multiple subreddits.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Rinse and repeat.
Comment on safe for work stuff. Respond to all of your comments on all of your posts because those guys are probably going to upvote you. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And then you just do that until you have a following.
There you go. Well, it sounds simple enough.
Right. Yeah. It also and like how quickly your following grows is going to depend on like how good you are at mimicking the content that does well on Reddit.
Right.
If you have the body type and the look that Reddit likes, that'll make it easier. Like I said before.
Yeah. I know. Because there's so many people that are wanting to, grow their following and like diversify. So they always think that like Reddit's a really great place. But and it definitely can be for sure. But
absolutely.
It's also like infested with trolls.
Oh God, it's awful. I literally posted a picture of a famous porn star today in her own subreddit that someone else made that has like 150,000 followers, okay?
Yeah.
And some of her arm hair was showing in the picture. And 3 different dudes were like, she doesn't wax. She needs to wax first.
What?
Like, you're a fan.
Oh my God.
What is her? Yeah. Yes, dude. In her own subreddit. They got downvoted to hell because like most of the people in that subreddit are good.
Yeah.
And technically I could remove those comments because she's a moderator in that subreddit. But I just thought it was fun to watch them get like negative karma because everyone's like, are you fucking stupid, bro?
Yeah,
like, do you wax your arms, sir? That shit's disgusting.
Well,
God.
I mean, like, because there are so many trolls, and maybe this is, something that hinders people from using the platform. Like, how do you deal with that? And like, because it can be a lot.
It can be a lot. I have this problem where I have to interact with them. I think maybe it's part of my tism, but like I need them to understand, and I've like gotten on in like internet fights on in like other subreddits, like r/piracy. Someone was asking how to pirate content off of OnlyFans, and I went on there and I was like, "This is shitty. You're shitty for asking for that." And everyone was so mad at me.
Oh my God.
I know.
Crazy talk.
Yeah, and there was like a whole thread. There was a whole thread, Ask Reddit, would you date a sex worker? And it was just like thousands of comments of people being like, no,
Of
I would
course.
never. And then like thousands of other dudes being like, I also feel that way. Upvote, upvote. So yeah, it's scary. It's a scary place. My recommendation is to not do what I do. And just don't fucking interact with those people.
Yeah, there's some really fucking awful, vile people. Like, I have read some of the most horrifying shit on Reddit.
I actually, so in my Discord, I have a whole channel where I like pull screenshots of from all the accounts. I run like 4 or 5 accounts, so I get DMs all the time.
Yeah.
And some of them are upsetting, to say the least.
Yeah.
So I have a little section in my Discord where we get to be like, this is disgusting. We all need group therapy now. Like,
Seriously.
like if I have to read it, someone else has to read it. Like, I can't be alone in this burden. But yeah, so you can delete. This is the thing, like on your own pages and shit, you can delete whatever fucking comments you want. I make the mistake of engaging with these people. Don't do that. Just delete the fucking comments. Delete the DMs. Ignore. A lot of times Reddit will collapse messages that it thinks are potentially offensive, and it'll be like, this message is collapsed. And you hit reveal, and then it's like, is this offensive? And I'm like, yes, every time. And then you can just block them. Yeah. In the NSFW subreddits, especially because I exist in most of the curvy subreddits, they're really good about like, don't be a dick. That's a huge rule. And it's for the clients, not for us. Don't be a dick. And if anyone ever says anything shitty, just report them and the moderators will take it. They'll take it into their own hands. They'll protect us.
Yeah, don't make that your problem.
Absolutely not. Yeah. As much as you can minimize those interactions, and you're going to see it. You're going to see it. You're going to see the notification. A lot of times I'll get the notification of some person being like, oh, you're a fat whore or whatever. And then I go to look at the comment and it's already gone because they have like banned words like fat and whore. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, but you still see the notification. Yeah. So it's like, you kind of, if you need to take a break, take a break. Like, if that shit's getting to you, and like, don't be embarrassed if it is, because I'm like the most sensitive fucking person. I should not be putting my body on the internet. Like, men on Reddit have made me cry before a lot. So like, it's okay. Just like, don't, take a break.
Yeah.
Step back. Yeah.
Is that what you do? Like, how do you deal with this when like, things get...
Yeah, I like, I'll have moments like that, and I'll just like show it to all my friends, and then they'll be like, wow, that guy's a fucking idiot. And then I feel better. That's my strategy, because I can't really take a break. So
yeah,
I mean, I can't because I run other people's pages. Yeah. So I make fun of them. That's my coping mechanism. I'm like, I expose them to other people so that I feel, I don't know, safer. But yeah, it works out right.
What about like with anonymity and Reddit and like safety and stuff too? Can you speak to a little bit about that too? And like,
I mean, the amount that you want to show and give to them is totally up to you. And like, if you don't show face, a lot of people don't show face on Reddit. Most subreddits don't require that, because porn on Reddit started as women being like, I'm secret, like hot wives, like secretly behind my body. I just like showing off my body. Like r/gone wild is the biggest NSFW subreddit. No sellers allowed, so don't even bother. But a lot of the women who became famous from that subreddit never showed face. And like, you can put a mask on, you can do whatever feels right. That's generally not going to affect, like, yes, if your face is one of your assets and you're, then you're not showing that, you might miss out on some potential like clients. But if that's something you're not comfortable with, cover as much as you want.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I don't care. My butthole's on the internet, and it's like, I accepted that from the very beginning. That it's out there. People are gonna pirate my content. People are gonna pretend to be me and catfish people. Like, it's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I have no control over that. Like,
right.
Yeah.
That's a good way of looking at it. I mean,
they do have like a piracy issues though on Reddit. So if you're like a famous porn star, or like, that people like sell drop boxes of your shit, you can hire someone to deal with that. They'll send takedown orders, and those subreddits will get fucking banned because Reddit's like
Wow.
particular about that.
Good.
The copyright issues and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's well, that's good to know. Okay. Cool.
That's why a lot of subreddits require verification, because they're like, we don't want to have these issues.
Right.
Like, we don't want people to be using other people's content and then get in trouble for it.
Yeah, save that headache for sure.
So you can protect yourself that way too.
Question for you as well, before we kind of go into some Q&A. Like, do you see a large number of people coming from Reddit going over to like your fan sites, or how is that
Yes.
ROI? Yeah, tell us about
Yes, I do. I am a little bit biased because I don't really advertise on other places anymore. I used to, and then like my TikTok got banned twice. My Instagram's been banned like 5 times. So I focus most of my energy on Reddit, but yes, they're willing to pay for porn. Not a lot of them, not all of them. And like not the ones who are DMing you usually.
Yeah, as it usually is.
But like it's hard to track. OnlyFans has tracking links now, by the way. So that's so that's probably a good thing to do if you want to track exactly where people are coming from. Like, create a specialized link. It's hard to track, but it's easier now that they have tracking links, and I've had great success. Like, maybe a third or more of my OnlyFans people are from Reddit, because they're going there to get their porn. So, it's like the perfect target market. They're there, you give them a teaser, and then they're hard and they're like, I like this girl. And then they're like, oh, I'll go buy her OnlyFans from it. Yeah.
That's really comforting to hear for anyone listening too, because I'm sure
Yes, I obviously it doesn't work as well when it's brand new.
Yeah.
When you're starting out, but if you pick up traction in certain subreddits, you will absolutely get subscribers.
Cool.
Yeah.
This has been a packed conversation. But
yeah, sorry I talk a lot.
No, it's great. There's been so much information here, so much like valuable nuggets and stuff as well, and like, of course, so many other things I just can't cover in the hour that you're here with us. But I hope this like provided at least like a foundational kind of basis for a lot of people that are curious about taking the plunge and starting off on Reddit, or have already started off on Reddit and just like don't know where the fuck to go or don't know what to do. So thank you for sharing your inside tips and your strategies with this.
We don't gatekeep here. I like women to have this information so they don't have to suffer the same way that I did.
Well, thank you. There are a few questions that did come in as well from Twitter, actually. So the first one is, we'll kind of just like go right into this. Reddit does not have a revenue model. So for sex workers, the objective is to direct viewership to other platforms. However, to do that, sex workers need to give content that is probably going to be revenue earning, or give away content that's probably revenue earning. Does this create an irreversible loop?
I don't think irreversible is the right word. I think how much you decide to show is totally up to you. You can still have success not showing. I have a dominatrix client who doesn't show any nudity on her Reddit. It's a slower growth, obviously, but there are plenty of niche subreddits where you don't have to show nudity. There's like Gone Erotic. There's like, if you're a dominatrix, there's lots of domination subreddits. You don't have to. That's the whole point of this work, is that you don't have to do what everyone else is doing. If you can find a way to do it without that, then you should. If that's, if you don't want to use content that you could be selling, then don't. And find subreddits where you don't have to be naked. I will say, like, it's easier if you show nudity, and you will get more customers, and it kind of pays for itself in a way. And I'm a huge fan of using content both on my paid platforms and on my Reddit, because who the fuck is keeping track? You know, like,
true.
None of them. What are they going to be like? I already saw this picture. Like, no, dude.
No one's ever going to say that.
Nobody's going to say that. So technically the content is getting double worth now, because we're using it for marketing and we're using it for our paid platforms. That's what I do. That's what I recommend if you're worried about that. Yeah. And like, it's not a irreversible loop, because you can just decide to not do that if you don't want to.
choice is yours.
Yes, that is, you should be making decisions based on what you feel comfortable with, how much face you show, how much titty you show, whatever. I have clients that only show titty. I have clients that show butthole close-ups. Okay, we got it all.
Yeah.
And I have clients that show nothing. And like even the client that shows nothing, she's still seeing increased traffic on her Twitter. She's still like, she got more OnlyFans subscribers. Like, yeah, you can do it.
Yeah.
Either way. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong answer. It just depends on like what you're comfortable with and however you want to like put yourself out there. So cool. Next question is, when a sex worker posts something on Reddit, they add a descriptive caption along with a photo. Those captions I find to be so sexually charged that they become silly and the sex worker will lose credibility. For example, this person wrote in, woke up and my pussy is wet for you. And he wrote, this turns me off because since I know it's a lie, and Suki's already like midway going on to the question.
Sorry, keep going.
I know it's a lie, and this makes me think that the person is a robot or has no maturity. Question is, do you think more plausible narratives like just stepped out of the shower and looked cute are more effective than thirst trap narratives like the above?
I think that like you not believing that that thing is true is like a you thing.
Yeah.
Like a lot of men they don't care.
Yeah,
It doesn't
exactly.
matter. The idea of the caption is to turn someone on.
Yeah.
Not,
That's the whole
and
point.
are we not always lying to you guys? Like, I don't understand. Like, like it's a fantasy. So though, like if you want to add, I always recommend adding personality to your captions and especially to your user page. So I have like a little thing at the top where I'm like, I'm a gamer and I like this and that, so that all the gamer boys and the anime boys can be like, ha, she's like me. Like, yeah, you can do shit like that. I think that's a great idea. I think how you write your captions is totally up to you, though. And I think if it didn't work, then so many people wouldn't be doing it, like the sexy caption.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's like dudes who are like, yeah, I just like can't really enjoy the strip club because like I know it's fake, and I'm like, okay, you win. You're smarter than all the dumb boys in here who are giving me money. So I'll see you later then.
Yeah, like, what are you doing here? Get out of here.
Yeah. Like Reddit is not, it's not a place for, like we're not out here with fucking marketing degrees and like analyzing what we should say and what will work better. Like just do what feels right. Give a little personality. If you want to be nasty, they'll be nasty, girl. Like they like that.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't, but usually they do. Let's be real.
There's so much truth in that. Like so much truth.
Like it's all lies anyways. So what why are you saying that, one lie is, oh, that turns me off?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, hearing about a girl's wet pussy turns you off? Like that sounds like a you problem.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
It's a personal preference, I suppose.
Yeah.
For this particular person. But
if you don't believe them, then then don't, if you don't like that content creator's content, then just don't consume it.
Don't consume it and subscribe. There's other people that are going to be asking for you.
There are plenty of girls out there who do like the, they're just more casual.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Go follow those girls.
Exactly. So this question is kind of similar to the first one, so we could kind of maybe quickly go over it. But this person writes in, I've seen photos that show all the goodies commonly posted, but I've been told by other creators to never show anything for free. Does either method show better results for lead funneling?
With better results, I don't really have like data on that. Like I couldn't tell you. I've always just been like a show whatever you want.
Yeah.
And same answer, like it's your choice. It should be your choice. What you're comfortable with. When girls say stuff like don't ever show anything for free, I think statements like that are not helpful because there's no like black and white thinking like that. It's sex work, Like if someone is more comfortable showing, then they can do that, and it's not like they're not as good of a hustler.
Yeah.
Like all the best porn stars have porn on their Twitter, like it's, you don't show the money shot, but or do, I don't know, whatever feels right. But it's one of those things. It's really up to you, and I can't tell you what's going to work best for you.
Yeah. Just try to test it out. Only one way to find out.
Try and test it out. That's pretty much what Reddit is all about.
And the last question is like kind of not really related, but we'll ask it anyways, just so I could hear Suki's own personal, I guess, response to it, and I could kind of like give you my 2 cents of it too. But this person writes in, with places like Wells Fargo dropping sex worker accounts, what are the safest places to bank with or through?
I read this on Twitter, and also I do this, but accidentally. Small credit unions. They have less eyes and they have less people looking, and they also have less customers, so they're less likely to deny you for stuff like that. I've had my OnlyFans send stuff to my credit union from the beginning because that's just like how I did it, but I've never had any issues with it, and I think that's probably the only advice I would give on that. I don't know too much about it.
That's totally okay. And if you wanted to hear more like on financial institutions and banking and stuff like that, there are a few episodes that I've done with that. So if you want to find the episode with Adri Rose, I think it's season 2. There's another episode with Piper in season 4. And there are a few other episodes as well, which will be nicely categorized on my website once it comes out. But those are a few that I can think of the top of my head, and you can find out more information that way, or maybe I'll do another episode on that specifically. So, but thank you for writing in. I really appreciate that. And with that being said, Suki, where can we find you?
Yes, I am on Twitter at Suki _Jade, I believe. I should probably know that. I work for PS Group. I do Reddit management, full management. I do Reddit coaching. I do bespoke social media packages like Twitter. I do virtual assistant stuff for OnlyFans. I jack of all trades when it comes to social media.
Yeah.
And we make custom packages for whatever you're looking for. So it's not like, it's this and that you have to get. It's PS Group's Twitter is we are PS Group. And then if you're interested in something like management, that's another thing I was going to say. Like, one of the ways to make Reddit easier is to hire someone else to do it for you. And if you can afford to, I would recommend doing that because it will save you a lot of frustration and it saves you time because then technically you don't really have to learn how to do it. You just have someone else do it. But yeah, that's a service I offer. If you're interested in something like that, you can reach out to hello@wearepsgroup.com. Yeah, I'm on Instagram and TikTok too, but
keeps getting banned.
Not that important. Yeah. I just got banned on TikTok too, like a couple days ago.
I was like, no.
For my full service work, my website is thesukijade.com, designed by and created by PS Group, Carly Davis. Yeah. So
shout out. And it's fucking fire. Yes. I love your website. I was like,
I love my website too. It's very like retro gaming and fun, and yeah, we had a lot of fun. It took us a long time, but we had a lot of fun building that. Yeah.
Well, for everyone else listening, and I will be plugging all those links. They're all available in the show notes below. If you haven't clicked already, be sure to give her a peep. Send a message if you need some help, and if you want to get things done for you. And for everyone else listening at home, it's new episodes every single Sunday, dropping at midnight Pacific Standard Time. It is Stripped by Sia on Twitter and Instagram, strippedbysia.com when that's going to come up at some point, and patreon.com/strippedbysia. And that's pretty much it. My nose is getting more and more congested as the stream goes on, so I'm going to shut this off. But everyone else, yeah, stay tuned, rate 5 stars, listen in, subscribe, write a review, do all the things, and we'll see you all next week. Thanks, Suki.
Thank you.
You're listening to Stripped by Sia, hosted, produced, and edited by Steph Sia. Music by Ted D. Graphic design by Maria Bellandarama, and photography by Ian Dabrin.